So good morning class. Our lecture is all about early modes of transportation in wind power. So it is the continuation of our discussion last week. So wind power is a transportation that is being utilized with the power of the wind. So with the use of air. So these are the following development in the history of wind power as used. Ancient Chinese kite, the Vinci's Ornate hopper, Montgolfier balloon, Siemens rocket plane, Lilienthal glider, and Santos Dumont airship, and Wright brothers flying machine. So we discuss about first is the ancient Chinese kite. So kites, it dated back as far as 3,000 years ago. So they were made from bamboo and silk in China. Exactly how or when the kite was first flown is a mystery. So wala ta kabalo kung kanos adyod gimugna ang first kite. But the legend suggests that Chinese farmer daw, nagtied siya og string to his hat to keep it from blowing away. So nagtied siya og string sa iyang hat para dili ni siya mulupad o dili mo kuan sa iyang ulo. So the first kite was born. So muna siya ang pinakauna daw na kite was born. So another theory suggests that to make a high official's banner, so official's banner daw para mataas o makita sa ubang tao, make it more visible, it was strengthened with a bamboo frame and flown. So ang nag-strength sa iya ang bamboo frame and nilupad siya para makita sa tao. Or it may have been inspired by observing the wind filled sails of fishing boats. So para pod makita daw sa fishing boats. The sail has been used in China for 3,000 years. Perhaps the earliest kite consisted of a huge leaf attached to a long string. So there is a type of ancient leaf that is ideal as a kite. So children, of course, delighted in playing with kites. So ganahan daw mga bata dula og kites. But ancient woodblock prints illustrate its dual nature. So dual nature as a toy and utilitarian device. So pwede siya matoy o pwede siya magamit sa purpose na device. So kites for work or play were made from wood, bamboo, paper, or silk. The earliest written account of kite flying was about 200 BC, when the Chinese general Han Xin of the Han Dynasty flew a kite over the wall of a city he was attacking to measure how far his army would have to tunnel to reach past the defense. So the first flying kite in war history was written by early General Han Xin of the Han Dynasty to measure the tunnel to reach the defense lugar. Gigamit niya ni as measuring tool. So in the 5th century BC, kite maker Kong Shu Pian made bird shape. So kinsa man ni nagbuhat pod og bird shape daw a kite could fly for up to 3 days. So tulo ka adlaw ang kite dili mo naog. So si kite maker Kong Shu Pian. In 1478 BC, a Chinese philosopher, napilay na philosopher, Chinese Japon, Muzi, spent 3 years, so nag-spend siya 3 years making a hawk from a light wood or bamboo which sailed with the wind. So, gamit sad siya og bamboo or wood para mo sail ang iyang kwan. Unsa man ni siya na porma? A hawk type. So, 3 years siya nag-spend. So, Chinese philosopher Muzai, I mean. So, kites used in 1232 AD. Flew message over Mongol lines. So, pili Japon siya ginagamit sa as a messenger tool in the over Mongol lines. So, Mongol lines, ibig sabihin na Mongol territories. Large kites were used to carry warriors armed with bow and arrows that would fire down on the enemy. So, kay na-improve na po ang value sa kite. So, ginagamit na po din siya as a machine tool or in wars. So ang kite mo arm siya with bows and arrows. So ang to fire down an enemy. So in the 13th century, Marco Polo, Italian, wrote about how the shipping merchants daw iyang giwrote si Marco Polo na mutay daw ang protesting sailor to a huge kite and launch the kite with the wind before the ship set sail. So before daw ang ship mo sail, mupalupad sila og kite. If the kite went high and straight, it meant quick and prosperous voyage. So, kung straight lang kay, mulupad siya, di siya mabugsok or di siya maguba, di siya manaog, it will say that quick o prosperous voyage daw ang mga sailors. But if it crashed or did not fly, well, it is a bad omen. So, naa daw na mga bad omen. So, kites fitted with hooks and bait. So, ang kite po daw sa una, ginabutangan po og hooks. Ang hooks na siya ay bait. So, it was used for fishing and kites. So, ginagamit daw to sa fishing. Kites with strings and whistles made musical sounds. So, ginagamit po siya as musical sounds in late centuries. So, the Chinese built many colorful kites. So, ang Chinese Japon ga-built og colorful kite. Isan karon ga-built Japon na sila og colorful kites as traditional man yung mga Chinese, and they were widely used in religious ceremonies. More sophisticated kites were used to test weather conditions as a forerunner to balloons and gliders. They were important to the advancement. So kani siya na mga demonstration forerunners to balloons and gliders. So advancement of controlled flight. In the late 1500s, so the kite was introduced to Europe. So in 1500s, it was introduced by the Europe by the way of the Italians. So kite flying was first mentioned in England in a popular book, by titled Marvels and Tricks in 1589. So ang book karon by John Bates was in a British Library collection. So ang title ani The Mysteries of Art and Nature. So nasa karon sa British Library collection, dated 1635, shows a kite being used as a fire drake. So fire drake, it means in Germanic mythology a fairy dragon. So Drachen in German means kite. So take note and remember that, class. So this illustration shows the ancient value of kite and performance. So what the kite does, or how the kite is flown, or what is the shape of the kite is being used. So kanisa isa na illustration mura siya hawk or bird. So Da Vinci, we go over to Da Vinci Ornate Hopper. So Leonardo da Vinci made the first real studies of flight in the 1480s. So his Ornate Hopper flying machine was an aircraft that would fly by flapping its wings. So para malupati siya, i-flap nimo ang wings. A design he created to show how humans could fly. It even had a sophisticated flight control system. However, this design was never built by the designer. So iya ra ning gidrawing ug iya ra pud ning gi-study. Wala niya ni gi-build. So take note of that, class. So Montgolfier balloon. So the two brothers Montgolfier, named Joseph Michel and Jacques Etienne Montgolfier, are in Annonay, France. Were pioneers and developers of the hot air balloon, and who conducted the first untethered flights. So sila ang first nagmugna sa hot air balloon system. So modification and improvements of the basic Montgolfier design were incorporated in the construction of larger balloons. So nag-made sila og dako na balloon. So ilang ginahito para malupad. In later years, opened the way of exploration of the upper atmosphere. Kanina part sa balloon, nag-open siya og door para ma-explore ang atmosphere, taas na to. So Joseph and Etienne were the two out of the 16 children of the Père Montgolfier, whose prosperous paper factories in the small town of Vedalon near Annonay in southern France ensured the financial support of their balloon experiments. While carrying on their father's papers business, they maintained their interest in scientific experimentation. So in 1782, they discovered the heated air. So in 1782, ilang discover ang heated air, were collected inside a large lightweight paper or fabric bag, caused the bag to rise into the air. The Montgolfier made the first public demonstration of this discovery. in June 4, 1783. So take note of that class that it was discovered in June 4, 1783 at the marketplace in Annai. They filled their balloon with heated air by burning straw and wool under the opening at the bottom of the bag. The balloon rose into the air about 3,000 feet. 1,000 meters remained there some 10 minutes and then settled to the ground more than a mile and a half from where it rose. The Montgolfiers traveled to Paris and then to Versailles where they repeated the experiments with a larger balloon. So, i-repeat nila ang ilang experiment pero dako na siya na balloon on September 1973. 1783, I mean. So, there is a balloon, ginabutang nila ang ship, a rooster, and a duck as a passengers. So, the balloon floated for about 8 minutes. So, 8 minutes siya nag-float and landed safely about 2 miles. So, 8 minutes siya nag-float pero ang iyang di-reach 2 miles as kayo. 3.2 kilometers from the land site. So, but on November 21, balloon with this again, the balloon flight again, but the passengers ay mga tao na. So, Pilatre de Roser, Franciscus Laurent, Marquez D. Alandres as the passengers. So, muna siya ang mga passengers. On November 21, 1783. So, first man untethered flight took place. So, take note and remember that class. So, this image or illustration shows the unsa nang dagway sa Montgolfier balloon. So, the balloon sailed over Paris sailed sa Paris for more than 5.5 miles, 9 kilometers in about 25 minutes. 25 minutes ng klasa, 5.5 miles na iyang katason na giparan. So, the two brothers were honored by the French Academy of Sciences. They published the book on aeronautics and continued. So, the two brothers continued their scientific careers. Si Joseph, nag-invest sa glomerometer and the hydraulic ram. And Etienne developed a process of manufacturing Delab, So, once again, Siemens rocket plane. So, Siemens rocket plane or first production of fighter aircraft. So, which was based mostly on the French Newport 17. Apart from the use of the propeller rotated in opposite direction, the BI was in fact fairly close copy of the Newport. By the time of production of BIs appeared in 1917, however, the design was no longer competitive, and after 95 had been built, production was cancelled, with the type serving mainly as advanced trainer. So, development work on Siemens Hasselblad H1 culminated in the Siemens Hasselblad H3, which developed 160 PS, which means 120 kilowatts, kW or 160 horsepower. The new engine was fitted to a series of original prototypes designed from the SSW works. The T2D2A and D2B, this featured a short round section fuselage designed to fit a larger engine, leading to a rather stubby looking aircraft, which pilots later referred to as the Flying Bear Barrel. So take note, Flying Bear Barrel. Flight tests started in June 1917. And while the aircraft did not have a very high top speed, so wala daw na shoot ang iyang flight, they show outstanding rates of climb. So, pasaka siya ang ilang test ay ilang mga aircraft. The only serious concern was extremely long landing gear. So, taas ang iyang landing position needed to keep the huge two-bladed top gear off the ground. So, the Siemens Stuttgart B4 was late World War first fighter aircraft from Siemens Stuttgart SSW. It reached the service too late and was produced in too few numbers to have an effect on the war effort. So, naulay na siya production. So, at gamay na po ang iyang production para maka-influence sa World War I. So, this illustration show the Siemens rocket plane. Nana siya karon sa museum at Kyoto. So, Lilienthal glider. So, Lilienthal standard glider was a monoplane. So, single plane, hang glider design, built, and first flown by the German aviation pioneer